Is keto dangerous? Let's talk about it. Hey Health Heroes, welcome back to Adamimmune, the channel about helping you improve your autoimmune health naturally. And today I wanted to talk about something that I don't know, it works me up a little bit sometimes when I hear this, and I have even people close to me in my life will say this from time to time whenever I bring up anything about keto. They're like, well, keto's dangerous. People shouldn't be keto. I just want to make a couple points. When it comes to keto, I do believe it is healthy, and why would I say that? I say that because I believe keto is natural. In fact, I would go as far to say as keto is the default setting for the human body. Think about this. We store our fuel as fat, right? As a fat source, and we burn that fat. So when we don't have food, we are just consuming calories from fat, right? That would be our fasted state. Say, like in nature, our ancestors, when we were becoming human, we would have been burning our fat stores throughout the winter, right? When we're talking about keto, we're really talking about a very natural diet. That is what our human body is used to. So actually, let's talk about people that are on a high carb diet. They take advantage of the ketosis as well without even knowing it. So you're burning glucose throughout the day, you're eating tons of carbs and sugary foods, and you're having that spike, and then at night you're going to bed, you're still burning those carbs, right? You have a lot of calories, but eventually you're going to run out of that, and you are storing those carbs and sugars as fat on your body. So you are going to burn your fat at some point. Everyone burns your stored fat at some point. Even if you don't think you have stored fat on your body, you have some. Everyone has at least, we're not talking about like fitness models and, really shredded people with, six packs. And I don't have six packs. I probably never will. I have like a barrel. It's a 24 pack, whatever. Anyway, so you're burning your fat stores when you need fuel throughout the night. Whenever you're exercising on a fasted state, you would be doing that as well. So you are taking advantage of keto mechanism, ketosis, autophagy. When you're on the keto diet, you're going to be in ketosis for longer periods of time. So you're going to see the benefits from autophagy almost all the time, okay, except when you're eating a little bit of carbs and then you're spiking your insulin just a little bit, but not severely like you would on the standard American diet or anything like that. And you are going to spike your insulin a little bit even from eating protein, maybe slightly fat. I'm unsure of that. There's studies either way, but again, most of those studies are from people not on the keto diet or on keto diets also eating other things. Okay, it's not studies just on if you eat fat, does it spike it? People don't just do that. They this study showed that eating fat raised your insulin, but they were eating a cheeseburger, right? There's other things on the cheeseburger besides fat, right? Anyway, these studies are terrible. Anyway, and people just believe that without looking at the study or anything. So anyway, we have to do that. We have to do that. Anyway, so when it comes to keto, why do people say it's unhealthy? Well, it's probably because they hear that, these high protein diets can lead to liver deterioration or, liver damage, kidney damage, things like that. But, when you go and you look at the studies or you look at those certain cases, you're going to see people that already have damaged organs from eating a heavy standard American diet, terrible food, or they were alcoholics, things like that. So they already have a disease, they're already damaged, and these cases are very rare as well. But keep in mind that keto is not a high protein diet, okay? It's not supposed to be. It's not intended to be. It never was. It's not the Atkins diet. And I'm not saying even Atkins is terrible. It took a hard hit. Some people had heart attacks, but people are going to die on any diet, right? It just happens. But keto is a high fat diet, low carb, and then moderate protein. There's a range in there, and it's going to depend on the person, the size of them as well. So I don't want to just give numbers and say this works for everybody. That isn't the case with any diet. There are macro ranges that are good, and it's good to go off of maybe percentages instead of like overall, calories for each person or grams, because my range is going to be a lot different than yours. If you ask me, I believe keto is healthy, but not all keto is healthy either, okay? You guys know me. I do do clean keto. I do the clean version of keto. I don't do dirty keto, as I like to call it. You know, all those processed foods with tons of, you know, trans fat. You know, these people are going to like Burger King and McDonald's and they're like ordering a hamburger patty thinking, oh yeah, I'm keto on lettuce. Like, you're still eating McDonald's. I mean, do you think that's only meat in those patties? Come on now. Alright, and they're eating like these fake sugars and, you know, artificial sweeteners and all this other garbage that causes just as much digestive stress as some, you know, different alcohols and things like that. Like, you don't know what these foods are doing to your body, but you're just assuming because it's keto or even paleo or whole or whatever diet you're doing, you assume it's healthy. But that is not the case. We have to look at each food, its macros, its what it's made of, right? Because that really makes a big difference when it comes to food and health. So, is keto healthy? Well, that's kind of an arbitrary term. When you're talking about healthy, you're making comparisons, right? So let's say, is keto healthy compared to the standard American diet? That is without a doubt, yes. Of course it is. But when you're talking about clean keto versus dirty keto, there's also a huge difference, okay? Probably the difference between finding huge improvements with your autoimmune disease and maybe even remission like me. And of course, you know, you can lose weight on any diet when it comes down to calories. Now, these dirty ketoers, they're still getting their macros on point. So they might be alleviating their cravings as well, just as any keto diet. So they're going to see huge weight loss benefits. You can lose, but seriously, you really can lose weight on like any diet as long as you're consistent. I think keto just helps that because it keeps your cravings low, and cravings are the worst thing when it comes to filling a diet. You end up cheating and, you know, you break your habits. It takes like, I think it said 13 to 17 days to create a healthy habit, and if you do that every day, then you just keep on doing that. But like, if you break that once, you know, you're just messed up, right? Like, you know, it's so much easier to break a healthy habit routine than it is a bad habit. So you want to make sure that you don't cheat and you want to keep your cravings under control, but also don't lose sight of your overall goal, which should be health. It shouldn't be weight loss, right? So when you're eating foods like erythritol and xylitol and all these other fake sugars, you know, you're putting your taste buds above your health in my eyes. But of course, you know, this is kind of relevant. This is all a matter of perception, right? I mean, this is where I'm at on my journey. So, you know, maybe I'm going to seem a little bit judgmental here, and I'm okay with that. You know, I've taken my side. I have an opinion, of course, because I've lost 150 pounds and found autoimmune remission by eating this way and living this lifestyle. It really is a lifestyle to me. I can't emphasize that enough. But yes, so if you think keto isn't healthy and you know, you've heard some bad things, you know, you might be right. But that isn't the keto that I'm doing, and that isn't the keto that I will ever recommend. And, you know, it really depends on the person as well. You know, I see a lot of people that aren't strict and they say, you know, I'm paleo or I'm keto or I'm vegan or whatever, but maybe they're not super strict at all. And I think we all know, especially us autoimmune paleo, autoimmune protocol AI peers, we know when it comes to strictness, you know, it matters, doesn't it? Like, I can't even have like a little grain-sized piece of like paprika or cayenne pepper, or I would like not be able to walk for a week, like an entire week. Like, I mean, okay, I could walk, but it would be seriously painful, right? Like, I have HS, hidradenitis suppurativa, so I have a horrible skin disease, and my skin will just flare up, and like, it's so painful and so much blood. So when it comes to, I have to be super strict, and that's what I push here. Now, not everyone will have to be as strict as me, but I figure I will leave this kind of as the default setting on my channel. That way, people have the best strategic odds of finding, you know, huge improvements. And this is what has worked. I get messages all the time that, hey, it's working. And of course, weight loss, it is secondary to healing, but people are seeing huge improvements with weight loss. And I know I don't get as excited when I hear about the weight loss. I am very happy for people. So I keep on telling me about your weight loss, but like, I want to know, are your symptoms reducing? How is your life improving? How is this helping what changes are you seeing in your day-to-day life? Because that's what really matters to me. That's what mattered to me in the before time. Before remission, like, life was awful. I mean, it wasn't even worth living, honestly. Being an optimist and a minimalist, I wanted to find the best way to heal I wanted to find any way to heal, but it just happened to be the cheapest and simplest way possible. So doing the AIP diet along with clean keto, it's been a miracle. And yes, I do intermittent fasting, and I do water fasting from time to time, just short fast. I can't seem to go longer than 7 days, and I don't recommend that to everybody as well. I'm still experimenting, and that, certainly my results aren't going to be across the board, with everybody evenly, okay? Everyone is different, everyone's damaged in a little bit different way. So again, when it comes to keto, another factor will be, well, how many carbs are you eating? Because for some people, even clean keto, if you're going to eat like 0 carbs, that might actually be dangerous for you. Say if you have like thyroid issues and you're insulin resistant, and you are very poor at the mechanism of gluconeogenesis, you're going to have to eat a little more, and that's going to affect cravings as well. I will talk about that in a future video coming up. But anyway, I'm thinking, you might have to add a little bit more carbs to your diet. How many carbs? Well, not very many, right? It doesn't take very many carbs to get your glucose needs. And this is really only for your brain. Your brain does need glucose, but we can easily turn fat and protein into glucose through gluconeogenesis. That's what our body does. However, and it can do that with its stored fat and the protein that you're eating. But it doesn't need to do that if you're eating the sugars and carbs and things like that. So most people are just kind of, their body isn't used to doing that. It's not very good at it because they're eating carbs all the time. They're spiking their sugar, and their body's like, well, I don't know how to do this. I've never done that. I've been alive for 30 years and I haven't had to do this yet. So yeah, it takes some time. You got to ease into that, right? Okay, so I think that's why a lot of people with thyroid issues are insulin resistant. There are some studies that have shown that there are some there's some connection there, okay? I'm not the study guy either. I don't want to go into like tons of studies, but I read them and I'm thinking, yeah, what can I use from this? Like, is this? Sometimes studies are just awful, like I said earlier. But yeah, there are some useful ones. So when it comes to keto, I would just say do what works for you. 50 grams a day works for me, but you have to find what carbs work for you. You have to do, I recommend people starting out higher up, not like high carb, but like a low carb, just a regular low carb diet. So you could start out between 80 to 120 grams and kind of lower that and see what works for you. I'm at 50 and that works great for me, but hey, for some people 20 grams is great. If you're not broken as much as me and you're doing great, even these carnivores can do 0 carb and be totally fine. So some people can do it and feel great, okay? So just realize that we're all on a little bit different scale. So to all the keto naysayers out there, I really just have one thing to say to you. Don't knock it till you try it, okay? I've had some amazing results, and literally thousands of people have as well. So, if you look at people on the standard American diet dying from diabetes, heart disease, just obese and crazy, and I know I still am, but I'm still in the beginning days of my journey, years of my journey. It's a lifestyle, and we're all in a little bit different place in our life. So anyway, just remember that I'm not out there eating cheeseburgers. I'm not out there eating candy and shakes, and French fries and any trans fat. I'm not eating vegetable oil. Like, if you think that those foods, a balanced diet, standard American diet, is healthier than a clean keto diet, honestly, I don't even know what to tell you. Like, that's not natural, and then burning our fat for fuel is natural, but all of a sudden eating fat, just mainly fat, is unhealthy for some reason. Keto can be healthy, just like a balanced diet can be healthy for certain people, and a paleo diet can be healthy for certain people. But that's all I want to say about that, okay? You got to do what works for you, and you're going to have to find the right settings and, eat the right foods, okay? Maybe eat similar to me, but find foods that you can tolerate and that you can eat long term and make this sustainable for you. And that's all I got to say about that. So I really appreciate you watching. Check out my other videos, share my videos, like the videos, smash that subscribe button. Check out my Patreon in the description. That really helps me out. That really helps support these videos and this channel. Thanks for watching. See you next time.